Frugal minded, welcome back to phase 3, which is called your expansion cycle. Let's do a quick 30-second recap of what happened in your second phase. You got your first $60,000 job. You ended the third year by getting into a position that's paying you $80,000. You also have accumulated a second property that's about $325,000. You are renting that out for $2,000, very least, so that would cover your mortgage and all your other expenses related to this investment. After 7 years, you have now 2 properties that's working for you. And at the same time, you are growing your skill set to expand your income on your day job. As I take you into the third phase, you will see the growth of your money over time based on these good investments that you have been making. And the habits that you have, small sacrifices, can yield really big dividends now, and I will show you. Phase 3 is just a larger expansion of your first 2 phases, and that's why we call it the expansion phase. You still have to save 60% of your net income from your day job, and your side hustle is still covering your housing costs. We are trying to make sure that we spend as little as possible for housing. Again, we are growing that side hustle. That side hustle should be making you some big boku bucks at this time. Your side hustle is something that you need to consider whether eventually this will be even paying you more than what you're making in your day job. And if that is the case, what you need to do is start thinking about how to build up that business so that you can eventually make the jump from your day job to being a business owner for your side hustle if you have not already made that jump. It's always good to have multiple income streams. Let's look at what you have. You have money that you have invested into REITs and other index funds as examples that's generating income. That's your first revenue stream. Your second revenue stream is the homes that you have that's renting and getting income, especially for the one that you're living in. You're almost living for free. And the third income stream that you have is from your side hustle with your day job. So you are in essence diversifying yourself into many streams of income. Now let's look at what you are doing at the end of the third phase and numbers that we have and what that looks like as you go on this path. As you're saving the 60%, you're still making sacrifices. You have the goal by the end of the third phase to be getting that coveted 6-figure job. I want you to be working hard on your resume, building relationships in whatever industry that you are in so that you are noted for your expertise. When you make that jump in year 10, you are going to be looking at a nice 6-figure job. That is one of the commitments that you must make in your mindset. Year 8, you're making $85,000. Year 9, making $92,000, and year 10, you're making that jump for that $100,000 day job. We looked at your net income. You're making $63,750, then $69,000, then $75,000 based on your income bracket, rough numbers. But we're going to be saving 60%. And as you can see, as your day job income goes up, you're going to be able to save more with your 60%. You're still devoting a budget of 40% for your bills, and you can see the more you make, the more you can actually put aside for bills. I'm hoping that you don't use all of it and you can put some of it back into a rainy day fund, and I will show you how I budgeted on my accounts when I first started and using this plan. The goal now is that you are going to be able to save almost $125,000 by the end of year 10. So you will also have a very nice side hustle that's paying you income that can actually more than offset what your housing costs would look like. So just because you have more income doesn't mean that you have to spend all of it. And that's where the frugal mindset comes in. Look for deals whenever you're still buying things. Look at different ways of saving money so that you can keep your budget in check. These things that are very basic is going to drive your next phase. I did say there's 3 basic phases, but the last phase, which is going to be for 10 years, is going to be what makes how big of a millionaire you will become. The 2 million is just a baseline. You can actually be a 5, 7, or $10 million in net worth by the time you turn 42 if you started at 22 out of college. But the last thing we have to talk about here in phase 3 is that you are buying a third property. And the reason for that is that the money you have saved is $125,000. The next property I want you to get is a $400,000 property. You see that we're moving up the curve. We're starting with a $250,000 in phase 1, $325,000 in phase 2. Now we're doing a $400,000 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. You look at some of the properties out there, you're gonna be paying $80,000 as a down payment, taking out a mortgage of $320,000, taxes $4,500 a year, with insurance about $1,500, and still HOA budgeted for $1,200. What you're gonna be paying for on a monthly basis is $1,528 on the mortgage line. You're looking at taxes, that's $375, and then $125 for insurance, another $100 for HOA on your monthly expenditure. And then you will have a total cost of about $2,128. That's something I just budgeted based on some of the homes I've been looking at and other things that's out in the market. The trick here is that you need to be renting that home for at least $2,200. So before you make the purchase, work with a good realtor that can show you what the income will look like in that particular neighborhood, in that particular city that you're looking to purchase. It's easier to buy in the city that you live in for management purposes, but if there are good opportunities outside of where you live, take advantage of that. You have opportunities, especially in developing cities. As an example, I'm gonna take a minute to talk about, say, Austin now with COVID and all these things that's happening. A lot of folks are moving from out of the Bay Area or New York City or other large cities to other cities that's more open, more conducive to remote working. Austin is one of them. We look at places like Nashville, we look at Miami, we look at other places in Utah. So there's always options for opportunities, and keep that in mind as you make that investment into your third property. Notice at the end of year 3, if you do choose to stop in the third phase, that's fine. You have accrued a significant amount of real estate, and I'm gonna take you through how much money you have actually saved during the process of the last 10 years. That the money that you have been saving adds up to almost $100,000 in a rainy day fund. That's a 6-figure rainy day fund that you've accrued. I want you to do, if you decide to take on the last phase, this is what I call the supercharged phase, because this is where all your assets will be working for you in a compounded exponential basis over the next 10 years. You work one more year and you save that, and you're gonna save that money as a safety cushion before you buy your fourth property. And if you take a look at all the money that you have saved over phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, saving 60% of your day job, you would have saved $82,000, $92,000, and $125,000. You've only used a portion of that for your down payments. You've only used $50,000 in phase 1, $65,000 in phase 2, $80,000 in phase 3. You still have cash left over. Take a look at this. You have $32,000 left over in phase 1, $27,000 and change in phase 2, and also about $45,000 in phase 3. When you add all that up, without any compound interest or anything like that, you still have saved $104,000. And what I want you to do, if you decide that you want to give up the frugal life for a little bit, it's time to make some changes. You're probably getting older at that point. You are starting a family. There's other things that's happening. And I'm gonna take you through into how I've carved out this path as you're entering your early 30s, if you have left college at 22, or for others who have started this path later in life, you can still work with this plan. What you see is that you can actually use this $104,000 in 2 ways. You can make an investment into the stock market, into other assets, or you can buy yourself with that money a $500,000 home, and that will be enough for the down payment so that you can actually move out of your first property and move into this home and start a new life, potentially with a family, and all these things that come with the blessing of options and financial freedom. at this point is make an evaluation whether or not this is something that you want to stop at. You're okay with this as a saving, buy the home, continue with your job and side hustle, and you will still do very, very well. And I'll take you into the supercharged phase that will get you to your $2 million net worth. And this is going to be the final chapter of this video series of the path to millionaire. I hope this has been helpful. Stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.